So about the 150 years period, it's probably the most disheartening period for him. And while he's journeying through to head towards the west side of Europe, he's basically a wanderer. He's a bum, a beggar, to call it lightly. That's what he is. And during this time, he's chased out of everywhere. At one point, in a small village, someone found him rummaging through their trash, and they find that he is without a head. And by that, they all round him up and they burned him at the stake because they thought he was some kind of monster as well. And the fact about his immortality is that you can do anything to him. The fact that he doesn't have a head anymore doesn't really make it better. You can cut him, burn him, do anything, but he'll heal right away. He doesn't need to eat to survive. He doesn't really need anything to survive. And he just perceives everything even without a head. And that idea of perceiving everything around him without a head, it comes from watching one of the animes or mangas, Durarara, where a Dullahan is living without her head, but she can feel everything around her. She can see and hear. And that's kind of what he has right now. He abandons his old name, Lorenzo, because he can't deal with the fact that he's not the same man. He does not have his former happiness or life. So he abandons it and damns himself and calls himself Orfeo. And this character, names are really important in a way to this character because each name means something. And Orfeo means, well, it's an Italian version, meaning from the story of Orpheus, meaning deprived or darkness. In France, I believe, he would stay in a field because that field was pretty far from all the farms, and it's a beautiful field. He feels peace here, but he can't even die. He would tell himself, if I could die right here, then all the sufferings I've ever felt is worth it. If I can just die and rest in peace. So he would lay there for rain, for wind, for everything. At this point, he was pretty much used to the fact that he was cold, but he knew he was never going to die from it. So, I mean, our worst fears is that your foot would rot from all this excessive rain and just staying out in the cold or chilly. He doesn't get sick either. So, while he's in the field, this little girl comes through and she finds him. The girl's not scared. The girl is probably about 5 years old or something. And she finds him intriguing. And she comes back every now and then to find him. And she tells him, I want to call you something. She says, I want to call you Fiore. Fiore, which means flower, because this is a flower field. So it's a very beautiful name. He finds that, it's like redemption a little bit. And of course, things happen. They can't stay. And he moves on. He eventually goes to the United Kingdom. That's where he eventually meets Oliver. He's in this small town. He's just planning to move on ahead before he gets killed. And Oliver finds him wearing nothing but rags and a cardboard box over his head. Because by that time in the story, there's cardboard boxes. Again, this is not due to history, so don't stick with it too much. Oliver, knowing him, he just goes, alright, you come with me. And he does, because he doesn't have anything better to do. And he knows he's not human, but at this point, I don't even care who you are. He goes back. Oliver gives him a new set of clothing and lets him have a shower and whatever. And he notices that this guy does not take off his dirty cardboard box. He refuses to. And instead of trying to make him like take it off, because demons are not like people, they kind of like sense things with the body and whatnot. So he gives him like a pen and piece of paper, and he tells Oliver, "I have no name. Call me as you like." Oliver takes a few seconds and he gives him a name right off the bat. He goes like, "You're Juan." And Juan, now every name is important, but he takes it. 2 days after working there, small tasks, just getting settled down, he finds Noah. Noah's like lying under a tree sleeping. And the first thing he noticed about Noah is that being a demon, he was incredibly handsome. And Noah is the handsome character in the story. And the sun is setting, and it's just glowing over Noah's face, and he looks incredibly attractive at this point. And Noah tells him it's not polite to stare. The guy is really scared. He like stumbles back, and he goes, to Noah it doesn't really matter who you are. He kind of gets the picture that you're not really human. And he goes like, "What's your name?" At this point, Oliver gives Lorenzo a small notebook so that he can write on if he needs to. And Lorenzo immediately says, "Sir Oliver calls me Juan." But Noah's like, "No. What is your name? I'm asking for your name." And he tells him the same thing as what Oliver, he tells the same thing to what he says to Oliver. "I have no name, call me as you like." That, again, doesn't take him a few seconds, and Noah calls him, "Alright, then you are Pablo." Pablo. Now Pablo is another Spanish name, and it means small. Now, really, to Oliver and Noah, they don't know what these names mean. But even if Noah knew what it was, or Oliver, they wouldn't change their mind. And the reason why I gave it Pablo is that Noah thinks that he's very weak. He has a very small presence. So it would have fit anyways. He would have probably convinced Noah that is your name and you're not changing it. I'm not changing it either. You can call yourself whatever you like, but I'm not changing it.